Content warning, blingy graphics contain flashing visuals, so please be advised. So profile customization as we know it today is pretty basic. A profile picture, a banner, maybe some of those little copy-pasted emojis if you're really funky with it. But back in the 2000s, profile customization was a whole event. Eye-strainy tiled backgrounds, neon text, and hashtag unique fonts, often Comic Sans, endless stamps proclaiming your favorite hobbies, bands, fandoms, and sites. And of course, blingies. Blingies were a staple of early internet customization, and when people see them nowadays, they're often reminded of that tacky 2000s sparkle vomit style that was popular at the time. But there's so much more to blingy than meets the eye. It was a GIF maker and bedazzler, a social media platform, and played a huge role in the aesthetics of the early internet. So today, let's dive down the blingy rabbit hole to take a look at the extensive history behind the iconic sparkly GIFs. But before we get into all that, have you ever gone to a cafe or library to use the Wi-Fi or connected to a public Wi-Fi network? I definitely have in the past, but public Wi-Fi networks can be compromised by criminals to intercept your data. This way, bad guys can spy on, alter, and even steal your data, but I don't have to worry about that anymore thanks to today's sponsor, NordVPN. In today's world, online security and privacy is so important but is constantly at risk due to malware, password attacks, phishing, and more, which is where NordVPN comes in. NordVPN's threat protection checks every download link and pop-up for threats, and their dark web monitor lets you know if your details are found in any data leaks or on any shady sites. Plus, with NordVPN, you can access region-locked content from all across the globe, so you can watch your favorite TV shows and movies wherever you are in the world. Become safer online in just a single click by checking out NordVPN. Get NordVPN's 2-year plan with 4 months free at nordvpn.com/izzyvpn. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. A huge thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back to talking about blingy. Founded by the German multimedia conglomerate Bauer Media Group as part of their Bauer Teen Network branch, described as a one-of-a-kind group of celebrity and humor websites made especially for teens, Blingee was launched around 2006 to 2007. The exact date is unknown as sources differ. The site allows users to create blingies, still images with sparkly GIFs and text overlaid on top. You can use any image or GIF as the base for your blingy and then choose from a seemingly endless selection of glitter GIFs, sparkly kittens and puppies, ribbons, and hearts with wings. Users could also make their own stickers and GIFs called stamps, which other users could then use in their own blingies. Common blingies include anime girls, cute animals, fantasy illustrations of fairies and princesses, and images/motifs from emo and scene culture. By using blingy, you can turn a plain, boring old picture of a pensive goth fairy into a sparkly, flashing blingy, which is far more bright, eye-catching, and looks like someone's Sparkle Dog OC threw up all over it. Blingy did not fall out of a coconut tree and does indeed exist in the context. In terms of the cultural inspiration behind blingy and its iconic look, Header.mo suggests that blingy references Japanese pirakura or photo sticker booths. Quote, "Blingy follows in the tradition of Japanese pirakura, a form of photography taken in specialized coin-operated photo booth that allows one to add stamps and manipulate the image digitally according to a set of options. For instance, backdrops, borders, insertable decorations, icons, and text writing, as well as hair extensions or twinkling diamond tiaras, and notably eye enlargement and tenderized light effects. The underlying idea is to beautify, or rather kawaii-fy, the photo. Mostly devoted to female group selfies, pirakura became popular in the second half of the 90s, intersecting with the evolution of coeval female and cute street fashion subcultures like gyaru or decora. In fact, both styles imported pirakura into real life by gluing glitter and stickers onto the face and other areas of the body and clothes. Although blingy is an animated version, many of its primary features of stamp and glitter-based cuteness galore adhere to the aesthetics of the older Japanese pirakura. Alongside their uncanny ability to cutify or kawaii-fy internet images, much like Japanese pirakura did for photo booth snaps, the popularity of blingy also ties back to profile customization. As we touched on in the beginning, back in the 2000s, specifically on Myspace, profile customization was a whole thing. You could customize basically every element of your profile, from the layout to the text font font, color, and size to making a loud, startling version of Bring Me to Life that you ripped off LimeWire autoplay every time someone clicked on your page. A lot of people learned how to code on MySpace just so they could customize their page. It truly allowed users to fully express themselves through their pages, and Blingee was an absolute staple on MySpace pages, especially those that leaned more heavily into emo, goth, and scene styles. Blingee wasn't officially connected to MySpace or any other social media of the 2000s for that matter, but Blingee itself posted instructions on how users could upload their creations to MySpace, as well as some sites that I haven't even heard of, such as High Five, Friendster, Tagged, Xanga, Freewebs, and Black Planet. It's really just a sign of how many social medias there were out there with extensive profile customization compared to the like 2 to 3 that we have now that has the most bland, stock standard layouts possible. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Bring back forums. Anyway, its popularity on MySpace was not the only reason that Blingee got so big. It was unique in the sense that it was not only a GIF generator, but also its own social media platform. Users had profiles, could rate other people's Blingees, create and share stamps, and save all of their creations to their account. And the Blingee community was big. Users could join groups, which were often fan clubs dedicated to celebrities, TV shows, or various online fandoms, such as this amazing Fishhooks fan club that my editor Kay found. Everyone say thank you, Kay. Some users dedicated a ton of time and energy to Blingee to the point where they gained popularity and notoriety for their contributions. Lorna Mills, a Canadian artist well known for using gifs gathered from the darknet and 4chan to create art pieces, curated an event at the Transfer Gallery in Brooklyn. The event featured artworks created on Blingee from 40 plus artists from all around the world, including herself. This is a notable example of Blingees being recognized as art in the physical gallery, as so often they were brushed off as cheap, tacky internet trinkets rather than an art medium of their own. Tuk Tak and Lil Marico's Where's My Jewel and MIA's XXXO are 2 more examples of Blingee-inspired art being recognized outside of ironic internet spaces. Olia Leolina, who we've actually already discussed on this channel for her early 2000s net art, was a big fan of Blingee and used Blingees and Blingee-inspired art in many of her own works. Her website in and of itself looks like one giant Blingee with a mishmash of glitter and gifs and 2000s banners, fonts, and images. But it's not Olia Leolina herself that I want to talk about, but rather a woman that she interviewed in 2015 and referred to as the Glitter Master, the Vintage Queen, and one of the most popular and successful Blingee makers, Irina Kuleshova. Note that this interview was conducted in Russian and then translated to English to explain any translation errors. Kuleshova has created thousands of Blingees, contributed close to 500,000 stamps to the website, and has countless badges, awards, and medals for her creations. Chances are, if you've seen a Blingee online, you may have seen one of Kuleshova's stamps on it. When asked about her life, Kuleshova responded, quote, "I will become 50 on the 20th of November this year. I live in Rostov-on-Don, southern Russia. I finished school in 1982 with a golden medal. Then in 1987 I graduated from medical university, then worked for 13 years in the municipal clinic as an orthodontist. Now I have my own small private practice. I have a 27 years old daughter and live together with her and her 5-month-old son. This is reality, and Blingee is my land of dreams, my escape, my fairy tale, magic, glitter. It is the best way to relax and true satisfaction if an animation worked and was uploaded successfully and people liked it." Kuleshova then elaborated on what Blingee meant to her, giving the site a lot more depth and meaning than many gave it credit for. Quote, "It is in the spirit of Blingee to share your happiness and your grief. Pictures of weddings, photos with children and grandchildren. Obituaries are very common. My story is quite similar to many other stories there. After 23 years of marriage, I went through a painful divorce. Blingee distracted me, rescued me. It is a wonderful place to spend sleepless nights. Many of my friends are in trouble in real life. Some have serious illnesses, others take care about ill relatives. Here we rest, share and support each other. When I get to know that someone is in the hospital, I make a Blingee with my best wishes. I download it and send per MMS because there are no computers in hospitals. I made a gift for Anita 4, but I don't know if she ever saw it. She died." I found Kuleshova's take on Blingee super interesting. I had always viewed Blingee as a fun GIF maker and nothing more, but to her and many other veteran users, it meant so much more than that. It was an escape. It was a digital dream life that allowed her to live vicariously through these sparkly, dreamlike images and channel her pain through creation. She made friends and mourned friends. She celebrated the highs and lows of her life, all on Blingee, and I think that's incredible. As odd as it sounds, Blingees have also been used to create political art. Hedda.mo notes that Blingee was used to mock and undermine political figures like Donald Trump. Trump. This use of Blingee to make political statements was popularized by the political satire and gossip website Wonkette back in the late 2000s. They had a semi-regular feature titled Washington Blingees where they would collect and post blingies of politicians and other figures in current events. For example, when Sarah Palin released her book Going Rogue in 2009, Wonkette had readers submit blingied edits of her book cover, many of which included sparkly American flags, wolves, and gangster chain necklaces. Another article claims to feature Joe Biden's favorite blingy. In an article by Ken Lane, the former owner of Wonkette, he wrote on the topic of blingies, quote, "I do recall one day in 2007 when I was living in Los Angeles that Perrine sent a very special sparkling animated gif from some sleazy new youth service called blingy.com. We fell in love with Blingee, and Wonkette chose a path that no self-respecting political site could ever follow, which is to say, no political site has any self-respect unless that political site is profusely illustrated with blingies." He also wrote in another article, quote, "It seems the Blingee was pretty much limited to fat single teen mums putting hip-hop regalia on their bastard infants. Is that about right?" Needless to say that this is a much more cynical and satirical take on blingies compared to the unironic and earnest love and passion that users like Irina Kuleshova have for the site. This is how the majority of the internet saw blingies though. Tacky, trashy internet baubles to make fun of, or for the really innovative to use to make fun of other people. As time went on and Myspace faded out of popularity, Blingee became popular on sites like Tumblr in a sort of ironic old internet aesthetic way. Today, blingies are mainly used on aesthetic blogs and social media profiles as a way to represent the early 2000s internet, emo scene, and kawaii subcultures, as well as kidcore, webcore, and even anime-core aesthetics, due to the huge number of anime edits made using Blingee. According to the Aesthetics Wiki article on Blingy core, also known as glittercore, quote, "Blingy core is an internet aesthetic based around the nostalgia and revival of old GIF graphics originating from websites such as Blingy or PicMix. Its iconic visuals represent Blingy stamps and layered images featuring motifs such as sparkles, glitter, stars, typical emo art, floral graphics, etc. In the post-MySpace world, blingies are generally either used as kitschy, nostalgic throwbacks to the 2000s internet or ironic memes. The huge number of Germa blingy edits is proof of this, and it's not hard to find other internet figures or meme images that have been blingied and posted on Twitter. In terms of the Blingee website itself, it still lives on, just barely. There has actually been a lot of controversy surrounding the site. In 2015, the Blingee team made a post announcing that the site would be closing, quote, "Dear Blingee fans, after more than 130 million blingies made, the time has come for Blingee to ride off into the sunset. It's been an amazing 9 years, from the simple idea of making it easier to create animated images to the explosion of creativity we have seen, and the wonderful lively community that grew around it. Thank you for your passionate support over the years." Why is the site closing? It is not for the lack of trying to save it, but several events on the business and technical sides of blingies have led us to the point where it is no longer sustainable for us to run the site. The site is expensive and complex to maintain. We have kept it alive as long as we could. This post resulted in massive fan outcry and many news article tributes such as "Goodbye Blingee, you were sweet, sexy, gangster, and 100% crazy" from metafilter.com. As users mourned a site that held so much nostalgia and comfort for them, the original post was updated with some shocking news. The Blingee team announced that they had gotten together enough money to keep the site running due to, quote, "massive outcry from fans and specialized media." However, despite the Blingee community's desperate battle to keep the site alive, in 2021, yet another post was made announcing that the site would be closing, quote, "As most of you are aware, Adobe Flash Player went down permanently on January 12, 2021, and as most of you have surmised, the Blingee site is also at an end. The Blingee team tried to the bitter end to come up with a cost-effective way to keep the site running. Alas, great things do come to an end." Bizarrely, despite this announcement and the multiple Reddit posts and articles covering it, the site still remains up to this day. It's been 3 years since this post, and the site is still up with no sign of it shutting down anytime soon, so I can only assume that this was made as a knee-jerk reaction to Adobe Flash Player shutting down, with the admins just assuming that the site wouldn't work anymore. Clearly, it still does, and the site remains open to this day, though for how much longer is anybody's guess. The site still lives on in a sort of zombified state, a fossilized remnant of the 2000s internet, unchanged and unaltered with the times. It hasn't advanced, updated, or added any new content since the 2000s aside from a postcard feature, despite the fact that internet aesthetics, memes, and culture have changed drastically. The FAQ page still contains sections on how to add a Blingee to Myspace, a website that it peaked in around 2008, and just looking at the groups tab on the website tells you everything that you need to know about what era Blingee is from. One of the suggested groups is a Miley Cyrus and Ashley Tisdale fan group with Blingee photos of the two circa around 2007. The last post in this group was made 5,395 days ago, or roughly 14 years ago. There are also fan groups for American Idol, Disney era Selena Gomez, the Jonas Brothers, and Demi Lovato, yes that's all one group, Twilight, Justin Bieber, High School Musical, and a bunch more celebrities, bands, TV shows, and movies that mark the website as very much a product of its time. It's basically a time capsule, a snapshot of a period in the 2000s and 2010s that has been preserved to this day. The site is still active, though it's pretty slow and outdated by modern standards, and they even still run weekly competitions. Voting is free with open categories including Best Anime Blingee, Best Celebrity Blingee, Best Artistic Blingee, Best Vintage Blingee, and my personal favorite category, Best Goth Blingee. Users can also make their own competitions, but with how few people actually use the websites these days, very few ever actually get any entries. The active competitions seem to be dominated by one single user called Kodetsky, who often enters competitions with multiple entries. Some of the categories are made up entirely of the user's entries, guaranteeing them the win through sheer volume. Kodetsky is actually another super prominent and dedicated user of the site, with their profile claiming to have created over 89,000 Blingees, supposedly the most ever created by one user. They also claim to have made 628 Blingees in one day, so October 18th shall officially be declared as a public holiday, National Kodetsky Reverence Day. They have over 1,000 badges, 3,845 gold Blingees, and 62,636 silver Blingees, which is some pretty crazy stats. Kodetsky has definitely put a ton of time and investment into Blingee and is among several other hardcore users who have become well known for their dedication to the site. Today, Blingee stands as a monument to many things. The kawaii rainbow sparkle vomit aesthetic of the 2000s Myspace and early internet era, the nostalgia of countless internet denizens who were seen in emo tweens, and the all too common phenomenon of people using the internet to escape, to live a second digital life, to find new friends and forge memories. Blingee quite literally is like a digital photo album, and so many people have used the site to create and store precious memories, commemorate various events in their life, and make cards and pictures to send to loved ones during times of celebration and grief alike. Not many other sites have such a deep and far-reaching legacy, and though it may not look like it on the surface, there's so much more to Blingee than meets the eye. And hey, if you ever have a spare couple of minutes and you're bored, definitely check out blingee.com and make yourself one to relive that sweet, sweet nostalgia. Maybe even enter one of the competitions. They do the best goth Blingee every week. Please submit. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this topic. I love Blingees. I love them so much. I recently, well, kind of recently made like a Space Hey page, which is basically a modern remake of MySpace. And when I was making it, I was having so much fun going through all the like Blingees and stamps from that era to put on my page. It's just a really fun topic. I loved covering it, and I really hope that you guys like it too. If you ever made Blingees, or if you still make Blingees, if you are active on the site, I would love to hear from you. But anyone with Blingee experience, whether it be from the 2000s or now, please chime in. I think they're so fun. I think they're a really cool form of internet expression. So yeah, please leave your thoughts below. Again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I really hope to see you in the next one. Bye! A huge thank you to my Garfield overlords over on Patreon: Dr. Worm, Jiffy the Punk, Vivian Valencia, Bunzo, Jar the Bar, Zoe Mars, Sophie H, Thigh Heavenly, Hazy, Jet Secret, Oliver Brains, Blue Mayfeld, Katrina Likes 5e Stuff, Michelle Olsen, Matt LRJ, A Riddle Wrapped in Enigma Hidden by Question Mark, Chicory, Doug, Dana Homegardener, Simon, Xavier Araujo, Helm Hamburger Hand, Dozo Blint, Sheriff Whiskey, Astrium Vortex, Jesse Chisholm, Lee XX, Grip Gunderson, and Joe Bradshaw. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. It means the world. If you want to join these guys over on Patreon, the link will be in the description. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting me, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!